You came into my consciousness with the name Fernandez.
Yes.
But that happens to be your second husband.
Yes.
It would be nice to also know, just tell us about your growing up days as a young girl, how you found love, you fell in love, you had babies, on first and second husband. I would like to, and I'm sure quite a number of people are interested in knowing you in that way, because I know it will be colorful as
Yeah.
you are, yes.
When I got married to my first husband, he died in 72. So that's over 50 years ago. The marriage was for about 3, 4 years. He was in the military, and he was going back from Lagos to base and had a road accident and died. And at that time, I already had 2 children. One was about 2 years, and the other one was just going to 1 year. And so that's the beginning of married life for me. Having to cope with 2 babies and uh, but prior to that, of course, it was a marriage with fanfare, 2 young people in love. In fact, at that time, my husband was more like a brother
And why
because
did you settle for a military man?
I didn't even know him to be a military man. I was we met in the we met in the train.
Did you meet your husband in a train too, Fernandez, or where did you meet him?
Oh, that one was another story for another day. Uh, eh, that one too was it was we also met by chance. It wasn't in a train. It was in a friend's. Both of us were visiting the same friend at the same time, and that was barely about a year into my marriage when I met him. And of course, he was older than I am, much more matured, and he knew what he wanted. And by the time a man woo you and make so much fuss of you, of course, you yourself, you fall and then. But one thing I enjoyed in my 2 marriages is it's a lot of love, tolerance, and care. And that's something special that people who have married all their lifetime, I don't think they actually were privileged to enjoy that kind of love. People who met us, as soon as they meet us, they just say, "Wow, look at these 2 people. We wish you luck. God bless you."
To think that, it ended, it beats my imagination. What would have happened? What caused it?
Well, I don't know whether it ended really. We had we had a rift, yes, because towards the end, um, like somebody said, that they hope he made peace with me before he
Pass.
died. But he made peace with me a long time. It was just that, when something was beautiful, pure, and nice, um, uh, and of course, because he was also a good man, he was manipulated. We had a rift. We were in process of making it up, but somebody here deliberately, they knew he met somebody, and they sent a delegation to go and ask for the hand of such a person in marriage. I cannot tell you that this is the problem between my husband and I. Each time we meet, it's like we never parted.
Do you blame yourself for what happened?
No, not at all. The only regret is perhaps I wish I was wiser and older and more experienced. That would have been a way I would have been able to manage
And handled it.
and keep the problems at bay. In one day, you can phone 50 times, and then you see gradually the calls started becoming 20, 30, 10. And then so that other interests have.
Gone
And
in the
when
picture.
that happened, maybe I didn't handle it well. But I think all of us paid for it. He paid for it more.
Why would you say that?
Because, you don't meet your soulmate always. I know if he's anywhere, I'm somewhere else. I know what he's thinking. And both of us will react the same way on an issue. So
Okay.
for me, I've had a whole lifetime of a marriage, even if it was short.
And when you talk of short 10 years,
Ah, no, 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 no. No, no, no. We were together for about over 20 years. And at least few years before he died, we talked nearly every day.
but if you people were that close, why was he insisting that you drop his name?
That was just another intrigue. That was way back now. Because after that, he now said, they now told him that I already have somebody else in my life and this and that. Said, so if she can leave me and find somebody else, so she should drop my name. And then, of course, he went to court and I went to court. But you see, people say they said I should drop his name. They forget that actually that we now settled out of court. And he said I can bear his name, I can, my children and his children, and this and that and that. And that was the court settlement. We settled out of court now.
Did he ever apologize to you?
Oh, yes. Not only to me, to people close to him. That's the best wife and thing that ever happened to him. So for me, that's part of my closure. But even before I hear all of this thing, I had a closure. I forgave him because I know. I knew the person that I was married to, and I knew was basically a good man.
But what do you miss the most about him, about that marriage?
What I miss most, you know, then there was more Yoruba and culturally inclined, more than the Yoruba man that never even left Nigeria. And he left Nigeria by the age of 18. But he loves the tradition. He loves our culture. In fact, I think he pushed me into it more. I feel more pain for him that all those things that he loved, the sort of life he wanted,
It didn't last.
because don't forget, before I met him, I didn't know. Even the children he had at that time, he didn't even introduce them as children. But he's had at least, 3 women before and children. By the time I knew, of course, I was well into it. So
It was alleged then that he was the chairman of the Ogboni Society.
well, the reformed Ogboni society, that was because I've just told you what Ogboni is all about. It's more of a social thing, especially the reformed, not the traditional one. You know,
What's the difference between the reformed and the traditional?
it's part of trying to get it to be acceptable. That's why they call it reform. But they still sit and do communion 9 days. They meet, they talk about something. It's usually about something progressive and the good of the society that we talk there and resolve issues and support each other, eat together, dance together, and
When you say we, were you also a member of the Ogboni Society?
I didn't have to be anything. I'm
Royalty.
I'm royalty, and we are the ones who, I'm royalty. We
Was
are
it
we are
his-
head of the culture, so I don't have to be anywhere.
member.
I am a member of where I said is the seat of government of traditional government, where a woman has a seat. And yes,
Was it his love for tradition that inspired him to join that?
it is he loves the tradition. He loves the Yoruba tradition, and I can tell you, he became that not because it's fetish, but it is the Yoruba tradition and religion. Culture is not negative. Which denomination do you belong to?
The white.
The Seraphim and Cherubim?
No. I wouldn't even dare. I was just being.
Because you see, you have people who are genuinely practicing the religion
I'm
properly to please the Almighty God.
Catholic.
But you are some of those people. I'm a Catholic. But even in the Catholic churches, you have people who are full of intrigues and infighting. Rather than face the purpose of going there to worship
No, but
Almighty
I
in
don't-
truth and honesty and loving your neighbor as yourself.
I don't know why. Perhaps you may need to do more in educating people and demystifying some of these concepts that are stuck in in our heads about some of these traditional,
Because
rights and cultures and all of that. Because, like you rightly said, when they mention Ogboni, you would think twice. You take some 2 steps backward and say, okay, okay, But you're saying that there's nothing more. It's just a societal, perception that is giving it
societal
a bad
perception.
name.
And
Or-
and the bottom line,
No.
we're still suffering from colonialism and indoctrination.